People can use their voice for any number of things. It's, for all intents and purposes, a very biological technology. In and of itself, your voice is neutral. It can be used for good, and it can be used for bad. And there's a new bad thing on the horizon. We'll talk about it next on this episode of the VO Heroes podcast. There's a new word in the lexicon for an old con, an old sort of thing that's been mechanized and adapted to modern technology. It's called vishing, V-I-S-H-I-N-G, vishing. Now, you may be familiar with phishing, P-H-I-S-H-I-N-G. That's when somebody sends you an email with a link in it that looks legitimate. There's something I need you to take care of. Here's a document to download. But when you do that, it has a payload of some sort of malware that either infects your computer or takes you to a site that tries to get your credentials. Phishing, it's an email that you get. Well, now the scammers have kind of modified that and added a human element to it. Phishing is a very automated, inhuman kind of scattershot approach. Well, they've added voice to this process where what you get in your text or your email is some sort of a quandary, a conundrum. This is not right. A bill that you need to pay, or a penalty that you'll pay if you don't do something. But that's okay. Here's a special phone number that you can call if you want information. And when you call that phone number, instead of getting a recorded message or an AI voice, you get an actual human being, often offshore to us in the United States, who wants to kind of guide you into installing software that lets them take over your computer. It's not the typical kind of phone scam where they say, oh, you need to pay your tax bill, so go buy a whole bunch of iTunes gift cards or Amazon gift cards. This is an attempt to install software on your computer that either sets you up for ransomware, where it locks up your entire computer unless you pay them money to unlock it, or simply gives them remote access so they can install other kinds of software that, in the guise of trying to help you, based on that first email that you got, that it won't help you. It will hurt you. And that notion of adding that human piece to it, that phone call, that conversation with somebody who has been trained to be persuasive, trained to sound legitimate, sound like they're trying to help you. But when you install that piece of software to help, it actually helps them take over the computer. So be careful about vishing. I've actually included a link in the show notes to this episode to an article on TechRepublic that talks about vishing from the perspective of a technical standpoint, a piece of software that Microsoft put out that the vishers are using because it has a lot of issues currently in big company spaces and even with individuals. But this process can be used by anybody. And the thing is, everything old is new again. There's nothing about this actual process and end result that is any different from any other phone scam. It's just how they get to you, how they try to make you feel comfortable, how they try to make you feel like they're going to help you. And then through this process of an initial contact via email and then a second contact via voice and on the phone can lead to some consequences. So really be careful about this. I'd love to know if this has happened to you. I'd love to know if there's something that has actually occurred over the last, few years that follows this pattern. It's a new word, but it's not a new scam. So just be aware of it. Let me know in the comments below this. If you're not looking on voheroes.com, go leave your comments there. That's where everybody gets to have a conversation about it. And we will talk to you next in the next episode. I'm David H. Lawrence, the 17th. Thank you so much for watching and for listening, and I'll see you soon.